And as the scripture says, all things that are hidden shall be revealed, and those things done in secret shall be exposed on the mountaintop.
Let's go, Rich. Let's go. You watching Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. The propaganda grammar, don't believe none of it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing.
Negroes have listened to the trickery and the lies and the false promises of the white man now for too long, and they're fed up. They've become disenchanted. They've become disillusioned. They've become dissatisfied. And all of this has built up frustrations in the black community that makes the black community throughout America today more explosive than all of the atomic bombs the Russians can ever invent.
All right. Peace and blessings, all praises to the Most High. The family of 70-year-old Pytorcarcha Clark Brooks is speaking out. If you remember earlier this week, we broke the story of Baltimore police killing the 70-year-old grandmother who was having a mental episode after they say she lunged at them with the knife. Now, I've exposed the chief commissioner of Baltimore, police chief, lying about two different instances of what happened. But today, you're going to hear from her family, who is now speaking out about the death of Pytorcarcha Clark Brooks. And also, they're going to give you an in-depth look of who she really was instead of the narrative that the news stations are trying to push. Check this out.
A short time ago, the Attorney General's office released the names of the officers involved in that fatal shooting on Mosher Street. They are Officer Stephen Colbert, an 8-year veteran of the department, and Officer Stephen Galuski, a 3-year veteran. Both of those officers with the patrol division, we know. And tonight, we are hearing from the family of that 70-year-old woman who police say was suffering from a behavioral health crisis and say they were forced to shoot at her when she lunged at them with a knife. Stefan Dingle live on your corner from police headquarters tonight. And Stefan, you learned her family found out about her death through news headlines before they even arrived on that scene.
That's right, Rick. Good evening to you. I spoke with the cousin of Miss Pytorcarcha Clark Brooks, who says she saw a headline about a 70-year-old woman that was shot and killed by police who was having a mental health crisis, but she didn't really notice the street name. She kind of went about her day. That was until her and family arrived at the scene and entered Pytorcarcha's home.
I'm glad you asked, because she has a name. Her name is Pytorcarcha Clark Brooks.
Her cousin, Lorraine Taylor, came to Mosher Street to gather some of Pytorcarcha Clark Brooks' belongings as investigators wrapped up the scene. She shared these photos with WJZ. The back door kicked in, blood at the bottom of the carpeted step.
All right, let's just stop right there. You see the back door kicked in, and then she's seeing blood at the bottom of the steps. Now, remember they said that the officer was trying to get out of the house, and then he fell as he was trying to get out of the house. So if he's trying to get out of the house and the woman lunged at him, why would there be blood on the steps? The steps doesn't look too close to the door. But this is just another example of how the story that they're telling us can be not further from the truth. Let's continue.
We was able to walk in, the smell and the blood, and it's something that you'll never forget.
What her family also won't forget and wants the world to know is who Pytorcarcha Clark Brooks really was, despite challenges with her mental health.
She would give to you. She was a sister. She was a mother. She was a cousin. She wasn't just what you hear, oh, it's been 20-some calls for mental issues. She wasn't just a mental person. She was a human who loved.
I made a sign, I put it down on the corner of Mosher and Ashburn and say, we mourn our loss because she's a part of our community. Whether I knew her name or not, she's still a part of this community.
Humanity met the moment in this West Baltimore neighborhood. On Thursday, Janet Bailey, president of the Libert Improvement Community Association, made a sign for the family and passed out mental health resources from the Turk House.
I've worked in the Turk House for 7.5 years.
The Turk House, a behavioral crisis center in the neighborhood, is where Miss Taylor worked for years. She says seeing Janet Bailey spread awareness in her cousin's name meant everything.
It's an awesome place, ran by some awesome people, and to have the president of the community to come by and to share awareness, that's putting awareness into action. That's it right there. And it makes me feel good because it makes me feel like my cousin's death just won't be in vain.
Now, the family is still waiting to view the body cam footage before commenting any further about the investigation or the circumstances surrounding the death of Pytorcarcha Clark Brooks. Now, they do tell me that her body is now at March Funeral Home as they prepare her homegoing service. As far as the investigation, the Attorney General's office's independent investigations unit is investigating this matter, which is protocol for an officer-involved shooting. We're live at police headquarters tonight here at 5 o'clock. I'm Stefan Dingle for WJZ.
All right, so there you see once again the family preparing to lay this 70-year-old grandmother to rest, and my condolences go out to that family, Pytorcarcha Clark Brooks, and they actually said that they identified the officers, 8-year veteran Stephen Colbert and 3-year veteran somebody Galinsky, and we're going to look into them a little bit later. But they were officers on patrol. And once again, the circumstances doesn't make sense. She's 70 years old. There's been numerous calls to the house. It seems like everybody knew she had a problem. She wasn't a threat. But yet and still they were forced, as they say, to shoot her. Now, I just recently did a story about a young white woman who was on meth and in the back of the police car and shot a police officer in the back of the head. And he survived, and, she survived too. Just did a story yesterday where a white woman goes into the police station and fires at 2 officers, and she survives. And so why are they forced to shoot this 70-year-old lady having a mental health crisis with a knife? It's disconcerting that the family had to find out about her passing through news headlines. You heard her cousin speak, shout out to her cousin. But that house scene says it all. That house scene that you just saw says it all, because she said that, you walked in, you smelled blood. There was blood on the bottom of the steps in the house, not outside. So if this woman was lunging at an officer who was trying to get out of the house and fell, how could there be blood on the steps? Also, you see how the door was kicked in. If a person is having a mental health crisis, why would you kick in the door? And we've already, pointed out from the last video that, how that police chief is just literally lying through his teeth. But, rest in peace to Miss Pytorcarcha Clark Brooks. You see from the thumbnail, she's a very beautiful woman. She was more than just, somebody that had 25 calls to her house. She was, somebody's, loved ones, somebody's friend. And, she had relatives and people who loved her. So this is not just a news story. This is a real life event where real people are suffering. And, it's always continued to be okay with protocol. Family's going to see body footage. They're going to investigate it. For them, it's just a process. But, for the family members of Miss Brooks, it is a tragedy. It's a tragedy. So, we must keep that in mind and, not let them keep getting away with this. And once again, I don't have all the answers. But something, has to be done on a grand scale to permit these things from continuously happening, but also permit the people who are doing them from getting away. Like, they're releasing the names. Now, remember, in the Ryan Hinton case, they keep not releasing the officer who killed him name, citing something called Marsy's Law, which is designed to protect the victims of violence, not the perpetrators of violence. So this disputes that narrative as well. So, we're going to be looking into those officers, how many incidents they've had, how many excessive abuse force they had, have they had mental health training, why were they sent there, and the like. It's obvious, like, she has a mental health issue, so why weren't people trained in CIT, which is I think that's critical, some incident training, or somebody in de-escalation to handle this situation. But nevertheless, once again, prayers and condolences go to the family of Miss Brooks, and once again, we're going to look into a little bit more of this situation. But as always, thank y'all for watching, sharing, subscribing, liking, commenting, interacting with this channel. I really appreciate that. And as always, you see my number, 919-587-7782. If you want to donate, you also see the Cash App. Most importantly, once again, thank y'all for watching. As always, peace and blessings. As the scripture says, all things that are hidden shall be revealed, and those things done in secret shall be exposed on the mountaintop.
Let's go, Rich. You watching Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. The propaganda grammar, don't believe none of it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing. Telehouse Publishing, breaking news coverage. Give you the truth before fake news throw mud in it. Before the jury decide and the judge discover it, you should tune in to Telehouse Publishing.
Negroes have listened to the trickery and the lies and the false promises of the white man now for too long.